Hey everybody, we're back here. We're going to be working on my Husqvarna 2246 LS. I've got a few things I need to do. I need to put a tube in that tire. I just was able to finally get it aired up to get it back in the shop. I'm going to change the deck belt because that thing broke the other day, and this thing is still not quite running right. I need to go back through the carburetor, but my brother-in-law kindly gave me this carburetor. It's an older generation for a Briggs and Stratton, but we're going to see if it'll bolt on there. So that'll be something we'll take a look at. The last thing I'm going to do is this thing, the deck is very low on it, in my opinion. That's all the way up. And then if you go to where the deck sits on the ground, right there, it's on 2. Which I want to make it to where when the handle's down there in the last notch, it's sitting flat on the deck like that. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to take up this space, take a piece of tubing or turn something on my lathe and make a spacer there to take up that room. Because the main problem I'm having, it's not so much the deck going lower. The problem I'm having is the deck doesn't go high enough for me. We got a lot of tree roots and stuff in the side yard that we go over, and my green LT1000, even one notch down from the top, that thing will just go right over the top of them and doesn't have any issues. This thing, matter of fact, I need to check the blades because one of the roots it was grinding on pretty good. Actually doesn't look too bad. So yeah, so I'll bring you guys along while I do a little bit of maintenance. So to remove the hood, this connector here goes up to the headlights, so just unplug that, and then tip the hood back down a little while you're lifting up, and that thing will come right off of there. So it's got these deals here, so, but then that thing will come right out of there, and then you got access to the carburetor. We did a video on this machine a while back. You can go take a look at that if you want, where I went over pulling the carburetor off and all the items we did on this thing, fixing the coil issue it had and stuff like that. So feel free to have a look at that. Because of that, I probably won't cover a lot of that in here. This will be just a shorter, I'll turn the camera on when we see if that other carburetor will fit on there. But I'll link that other video here so you guys can go see that if you're trying to fix your 2246. Alright, now that we're down to the carburetor, let's just do some measurements here and see if it's close to the same. That way we don't take it all apart for no reason. This should be pretty close to the bolt spacing. The other one. Okay, well that's the spacing that way is absolutely the same. Now, is there a way that I can get in here? That should give us kind of an idea. yeah, so that carburetor will physically mount on there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pull that one off. Okay guys, so that older model carburetor doesn't fit. I could do some modifications to make it fit, but it's not really something that I want to do. So show you the differences here. So this older style has the throttle control and the choke on the same side, where the current one, the choke is on this side and the throttle blade controls over on this side. That's probably not a huge deal, because we could come off of here. This is where the throttle gets moved by the quadrant up by the steering wheel. We could probably make a wire that came off of there and stepped over to this side, be able to make that, probably make that work. The bigger issue was this intake. When I went to put the intake on that older model carburetor, over in here, that linkage was rubbing, and I mean, you might be able to clearance that out a little bit, but I don't know how much you could clearance that before you'd have an intake leak. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the original one back apart and re-clean it, and then that should take care of our stumble. Alright, so with that other carburetor not fitting, I put the original one back on. I did clean it again, and off camera I test ran it, and it's not stumbling at high RPM anymore. It sounds actually really good. So I got that all taken care of. Now what I'm going to work on is, we talked about it earlier, I'm going to work on getting the spacer made for in here. And then after I make that spacer, I think I'm going to go ahead and just remove the deck. I hit some baling twine the other day, and I got a lot of it out of there, but I want to make sure that I get it all out of there. Plus stuff like this. It'll give me a chance to get that all cleaned out, and I can make sure that the spindles are good and everything. So let me measure out what this is going to require. I know we've got a lot of adjustment there, but I don't think we have, well, maybe we do have enough adjustment. No. Nah, I'm going to go ahead and come up with a spacer. Alright, so I've got it adjusted as best I can. I ended up putting a washer. Show you guys real quick. I ended up putting a washer on there. I may just throw a tack weld just so it'll hold a little better, but that's all the spacing difference we needed to make the deck level. So at this point, we'll go ahead and we're going to remove the deck. So we've got that pin there we got to take out, and then take the washer off. And then I'm sure we got the same thing on the other side. Of course, we've got this guy to take off, and like I said, same as the other side. Okay. I need to take the bar off the other side, but then we gotta figure out how we get the front released. And that one's got a keeper right behind that anti-scalping wheel, so I'm gonna have to set the camera down for this one so I can get in there with a pair of pliers or maybe a flathead screwdriver even. Okay, got the deck out, flipped it over, just as I suspected. There's some of that baling twine that I got. There's a piece of wire around there too. When we get this stuff fed out, this one actually looks pretty good, and there's not too much buildup on the deck. Maybe a little bit back here. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I'll take a putty knife and scrape that stuff real quick, and it's going to take me both hands to get this cleared. Alright, I've run the putty knife around and gotten most of this loose stuff up. I did sharpen the blades. The other thing I wanted to look at, so I don't know if it shows on camera, but that anti-scalper mount's bent. That one's bent a little bit. That one doesn't look too bad. And that one's bent. So we're going to take care of those next. And now, looking at our belt diagram here, the belt's going to go around like this, through these guides, over this one, and then across. That one, and then it'll go in there, and then this one's our tensioner for when it goes up onto the engine up here. Ready to roll this thing back underneath. Probably not going to be able to show this too well on camera, but I'm going to roll this deck forward as far as I can, so I can get it on the engine pulley. There's what I was looking at. Just get it up over that engine pulley on the crankshaft, and then I slid that arm back in. I'll probably go ahead and put the keeper on it right now, and then I can pull the deck back and reinstall all the keepers. Alright, so I went ahead and put the tube in that tire. I've got a video on doing tubes in mower tires, so check that one out if you're not sure how to do that. These are a tubeless tire that I added a tube to. It's really common. You can get the tubes on Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, a lot of hardware stores, tire stores. I mean, they're they're available everywhere. So also, as you can see, I put chains on it because the slope in our yard, you get to places where it just slides, you know, or you spin the tires. So the only thing I didn't do that I was going to do in this one is I didn't change the oil, because I got to thinking, looking back at my records, and it doesn't have but an hour and a half on it since I changed the oil. So I didn't worry about it. Don't mind that the shop's a mess from the mower deck, but thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Please subscribe, that helps us out, and like the video if you would too. Feel free to comment. Don't get a lot of comments in my videos. Sometimes I do. Sometimes people are like, hey, I really appreciate that. I was just going to work on that. I was going to this, or I was going to that. One thing specific to this is the mower deck blade. I didn't see any videos on YouTube for the 2246 LS. There's videos for the 2246 YHT, I believe it is, the newer version of this guy. So maybe this will help somebody out with that. But thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. Have a great day.